Gaming demos are no longer relevant in the gaming industry as they once used to be in the early 2000s and before. During a time where people had magazine subscriptions that would mail them demo disc, or they can go to the store and pick up that magazine that had that demo disc. It was a time where you can just throw that demo disc into your console and check out the game lineup on the gaming disc to see if you wanted to save any money for one of the lit games that were on the demo disc lineup. Due to current industry trends, game demos just aren't significant anymore. However, game demos were always important because back then, if it wasn't for some of these game demos, I would have never found out about certain bangers that I played. Furthermore, it's around 2005 and my dog actually lets me borrow an Xbox demo disc called Exhibition. He said, try out the demo disc and see if there's some games you like. I think there's some bangers on it. So this demo disc had Splinter Cell, Toe Jam and Earl, Panzer Dragoon, Time Splitters 2. If you don't know, you better go learn. But more importantly, it had this game called Whacked. Whacked was a comical party game where a character represented a certain concept, where they competed in a game show, and you would compete in game modes such as Deathmatch, Capture the Flag, King of the Hill. The game was so simple, you would just hover over weapons to pick them up and you would press one of the attack buttons to use it. But what shined is the characters were all funny and you never knew what type of interaction you would get.
Why don't you all line up and
The game was fun, the cutscenes were funny, and the characters were funny in game. Me and my siblings played this so much to the point where my brother actually went out and bought the real game. Which I did review this for my channel, and it is one of my best performing videos, so go check that out. Nonetheless, the same friend comes to school one day and he said, hey, I got this demo disc from Xbox Magazine and it's got Mortal Kombat Shaolin Monks. Go try it out. I go home and I try out that Mortal Kombat Shaolin Monks demo. Y'all, that shit was so lit. The opening cinematic, the blood and gore, and the gameplay, we're still begging for a remaster today or a sequel. So eventually, I buy Mortal Kombat Shaolin Monks. Within Mortal Kombat Shaolin Monks is a game demo section, which included the gothic vampire shooter Darkwatch, which is a fire game to play, as well as the action horror game The Suffering. Looking back at all of this, game demos were just so important because they really widened your horizons when it came to the genres you played for gaming. In general, they just helped expose you to so many more games. Even more, out of all the gaming demo discs that I've played, there is one particular demo disc that has left the biggest impression on me and fills me with nostalgia. This game demo disc is none other than the Sega Saturn Bootleg Sampler 2. Let's boot up that Sega Saturn real quick. How could I ever get tired of that? Initially, when you boot up this demo disc, you hear that abstract, dreamy, abundantly positive soundtrack. Thus, the format of this demo disc is 5 playable games in blue, and everything else in purple is a viewable movie, which is okay because it's showing you more games that you might want to play. Even more, the visuals for its time were definitely S tier. I like how when you scroll down, the channel changes on the TV that's showing the game preview. The knob on the TV actually rotates, as well as the game gives you static once you change channels too. So you can see they definitely cared about presentation compared to demo disc in the future. So let's talk about some of the games. Virtual On is a nice 1v1 mech game, however I'm not going to spend too much time speaking on it, it deserves its own video. Daytona, cool racing game. Bug 2 is a very interesting game because it's one of those pseudo 3D platformers where 3D wasn't truly in, but people were trying to emulate 3D with the technology they had. Three Dirty Dwarfs is one of the most creative games I ever played. This is a side-scrolling action game. So many of this game's levels are so unique. A lot of people who cover retro stuff should be talking about this game, however, I just don't think people know about it. And I'm just gonna make my own separate video for this game because it deserves it. Baku Baku is nothing but Animal Tetris. Thus, we are now at the viewable movies. And the first movie is for a game called Mr. Bones, and Mr. Bones is the coolest skeleton in all of gaming. It is a side-scroller platformer, and this game is actually hardcore. I started playing this game because I watched the video so much. Then I found a way to play it, so I can make a separate video for it because this game also deserves it too. Then we have Worldwide Soccer 97, I don't care about that. Fighting Vipers movie was lit. I always wanted to try the game. I didn't try it out until like 2013. I believe it's made by the same people who did Virtual Fighters, and even more we have Virtual Cop. Specifically Virtual Cop 2, which I actually own that game on the Sega Saturn, and it was lit. I enjoyed it. If only I had the actual gun accessory that comes with it. Last and not least, we have Dark Savior. I've watched the movie for this game several times, and yet I have still yet to play this game. It's one of those games that were in Suedo 3D, and they promoted this so much. I believe the game's also on the box of the Sega Saturn. I don't know if the game is good, but maybe I'll try it out, and if the worst thing will happen is I drop it. In addition, looking at all of this is just so crazy because you can tell by how the games look. This released when people had Windows 97 or 98. The computer screensavers were the maze or it was the pipes. Man, during this time, you used to just wonder how gaming and technology in general would progress. But anyways, we've been meat writing nostalgia for way too long. I will catch you guys in the next video, and as always, vibe out.